Labour under fire for boosting foreign aid while pensioners struggle at home as Britain braces against a bitter winter. Sir Keir Starmer's Labour government is facing mounting criticism for ramping up foreign aid spending while pensioners back home struggle to heat their homes. With a £13.7 billion budget earmarked for international aid projects in 2025-26, Labour has defended its policy as part of a broader mission to create a world free from poverty on a livable planet. However, the move has sparked outrage among critics who argue that struggling pensioners are being sidelined in favor of overseas spending. Chancellor Rachel Reeves' October budget delivered a blow to pensioners by scaling back winter fuel payments, just as energy bills continued to soar. At the same time, the Treasury has approved council tax hikes well above the usual 4.99 threshold, greenlighting increases of up to 10s without requiring local referendums. Meanwhile, the government is pressing ahead with a £500 million boost to foreign aid for the next financial year, a decision that has prompted fierce backlash from Conservative MPs. Tory MP Kevin Hollinrake took aim at Labour's spending priorities, telling The Telegraph, "First, Labour snatched away the winter fuel allowance and is forcing councils to hike up council tax to pay for their new jobs tax, despite Starmer promising not a penny more during the election." Labour's views on pensioners have been laid bare in recent months. They'd rather leave them out in the cold to bankroll union pay deals and send billions abroad. Labour, however, insists its aid policy remains crucial. According to the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, FDO, many nations have already seen significant cuts in UK assistance, with aid to countries like Pakistan, Ethiopia, Syria, Sudan, and Yemen slashed dramatically between 2019 and 2023. Foreign Secretary David Lammy has commissioned 3 major reviews into UK aid policy, as Labour seeks to reshape Britain's global role. But as pensioners grapple with rising living costs, the government's balancing act between domestic needs and international commitments is only growing more politically perilous.
Madam Deputy Speaker, the Honourable Lady talks about the election, and democracy is an opportunity. It is an opportunity to think about what we want our nation to be in the next decade and the decades to come. The UK has been through tough times, but the choices we have made collectively have given ourselves the freedom to be ambitious, both at home and abroad. The Chancellor's statement this week is testament to that, which is why the next few weeks so much is at stake. We on this side of the House are undoubtedly the underdog in this fight. But I go into this election, and I will be standing up and fighting, filled with optimism and hope because, Madam Deputy Speaker, I am proud of our record, from soaring literacy rates to halving crime. I'm proud of my colleagues, none more so than the Honourable Member for Thanet South. I am proud of my party and its mission to encourage and reward people who take responsibility, and I have always been proud of our country. The Honourable Lady opposite and her leader are at a disadvantage as they go into this fight because they are not proud of Labour's record. They are trying to disown it. The Labour leader has been distancing himself from his own MPs and candidates, the anti-business, anti-Israel, anti-opportunity, anti-responsibility, Britain-bashing brigade that sit on the benches opposite. It says much about her party that its sole campaign narrative is that the Labour Party are not really the Labour Party at all. But recognising you at odds with the values of this nation is not the same as being supportive of them. The public have been angry at us because of what we have had to deal with and because we have put the country first. But the question is, will that red mist blind them to what is on offer under the red flag? The burdens on business, Britain being tied back into the EU's regulatory straitjacket, the undermining of NATO through an EU defence pact, the undermining of our border through an EU migration pact, higher taxes, less disposable income, and the wrecking ball that would be taken to our constitution, and the cuts to the NHS budget Labour have so viciously done in Wales. The fact is that nothing matters more to the Labour Party than the interests of the Labour Party and their paymasters. Ruthless socialists led by a weak and unformed leader. In 6 weeks' time, we will know the answer from the British people. We Conservatives may be the underdog, but we are on the right side, and that is on the side of the British people.
Penny Mordaunt blasts Labour's heartbreaking damage to the UK and signals a comeback. Penny Mordaunt, once tipped as a potential successor to Boris Johnson, is making no secret of her frustration with Labour's leadership, condemning what she calls the squandering of Britain's economic potential. Now out of Parliament after a narrow defeat in July's general election, the former Defence Secretary is determined to return to the political arena, and she isn't holding back in her critique of Sir Keir Starmer's government. Mordaunt, who won global recognition for her role as sword-bearer at King Charles' coronation, is now focused on the political battles ahead. Speaking exclusively to The Telegraph, she describes watching Starmer and Chancellor Rachel Reeves at work as heartbreaking, and warns of a looming unemployment crisis if Labour presses ahead with its tax hikes. The 51-year-old, who was named after the warship HMS Penelope and trained as a naval reservist, lost her Portsmouth North seat by just 780 votes in July's electoral wipeout for the Tories. But far from retreating, she remains determined to make an impact. "I would obviously love to come back to Parliament," she says, before adding, "but I shall try and make myself useful in the meantime." The what if of British politics for many Conservatives, Mordaunt remains one of the great what ifs of modern politics. She made it to the final three in the 2022 leadership contest, only to lose out to Liz Truss. As Truss's tenure imploded, some Tories wondered if Mordaunt, widely regarded for her strong communication skills and commitment to national defense, could have steered the party through turbulent times. Her political convictions were shaped by personal hardship. Growing up in Portsmouth, she lost her mother to breast cancer at 15, cared for her younger brother, and worked as a magician's assistant to support her family. That period, she says, instilled in her a deep sense of responsibility. "When the chips are down, you have to step up," she reflects. "I obviously learned a few card tricks along the way, but that was the main lesson." Labour is blocking those who create growth. Mordaunt's anger at Labour is laser focused on the economy. She accuses the government of a complete lack of understanding about how to create wealth and warns that Reeves' tax hikes, including an increase in employers' national insurance, will stifle business and lead to mass job losses. "Every single thing this government is doing stands in the way of growth," she says. "It's heartbreaking to watch because you've got people putting their own money on the line, working hard to create something, and they are being blocked at every turn by people who have no understanding of what they are doing." Recent figures from the Bank of England, which halved its UK growth forecast to just 0.75, have only reinforced her fears. She warns that the economic consequences of Reeves' tax spend strategy will cut off hopes and opportunities for working people and drive up unemployment. Mordaunt is equally scathing about Labour's approach to small businesses, which she calls the lifeblood of our economy. Instead of empowering entrepreneurs, she argues, Starmer's government is suffocating them under layers of taxation and bureaucracy. A call for renewal and praise for Kemi Badenoch. Despite the Tory party's devastating election defeat, Mordaunt remains optimistic about its future. She credits the loss to a failure to address key voter concerns, ranging from health care to the cost of living crisis, but insists the party can rebuild trust if it provides competence and optimism. "Everything our party stands for, democracy, capitalism, it all requires people to believe in the future," she argues. "If we create that mood, if we give people hope again and demonstrate our competence, that is how we will win back trust." She offers strong support for Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch, praising her for staying focused on long-term challenges rather than getting distracted by Westminster infighting. "She's working to build answers for the challenges this country is facing," Mordaunt says. "She's up for the job, and she's more than capable of doing it. We have to wake up as a nation." Mordaunt's patriotic instincts remain at the heart of her politics. She remains deeply moved by her role in King Charles' coronation, where her display of naval endurance, holding ceremonial swords for more than an hour, earned admiration across party lines. Royal Navy training mate, she quips when asked how she managed the feat. "I can recommend it. I'd have been stuck without it that day, I can tell you." She continues to draw inspiration from the public's response to the historic event, which she sees as proof of the country's resilience and shared values. "In this time of immense turmoil and division, it's taught me that our country is really strong," she says. "There are these common bonds displayed in our traditions that unite us all." As for her own future, she makes clear that her political ambitions are far from over. She may be out of Parliament for now, but Mordaunt has no intention of fading into the background. We really do have to wake up as a nation, she warns. It's a rallying cry that suggests she's preparing for a return to the front lines. Sooner rather than later. Thanks for watching. Stay connected. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with our latest videos and stay ahead of the curve on the issues shaping our world. For even more, join our free Telegram group, link in the description, for uncensored, no holds barred discussions on the topics that matter most. Be part of the conversation. Your voice counts.